Do I or don't I? I'm going to go just a hair darker than that. I was just thinking, did you hear the gears turning? I was just trying to figure that out. It's preference. Any painting you do is preference. You're the artist. I just figure I want it a little bit darker down here. Don't forget, we're going to have these nice reflections of the swans in there. We need dark behind them to show that contrast. And notice most of my blending is horizontally. I'm going with the lay of the water. You can't go in like this and just leave it like that. I know. Somebody in Dubuque was doing that, weren't you? I caught you. Don't do that. All right. Okay, so much for the backdrop. I'm going to start putting in the water. I'm going to use the number 10 flat brush. I'm going to start with some of this same dark color I just used. It may not be dark enough. I'm going to have to test it and see. It should be, but I'm not sure. I don't know. If you chisel this brush up nice and sharply, it comes to a razor edge. You want to come in flat with the brush. A lot of people will turn it on the corner, and the minute that you do, the brush squishes out fat. I want nice thin lines in here, so I'm using just the end of it. And I'm pressing a little harder through the middle of the stroke and then releasing pressure on the end. And see, it tapers on both ends, like a little wave movement. So basically, I just have to put a lot of these in here. And see, they're there, but they could stand to be a little darker. That's why I said, you never know. I had to test it. It's like making soup. You have to dip the ladle in and taste it every so often. So I'm going to take a little more blue, a little more black. Oh, bingo. That's the one right there. That's the one we want. See how much better that shows up? It's the contrast. Contrast is one of the most important aspects of any painting. I don't care what you're doing, if you're doing photorealism or abstract or impressionism or whatever. It all boils down to the contrast. Without contrast, you have nothing. See, it's getting lighter because it's picking up that background color, so I keep mixing more dark back into it to keep it that way. And these look really harsh, but I'm going to blend them. I tell you all the time, blending cures everything, and it really does. I'll get down tight to my bottom of my canvas here. My easel has a little notch in there that sets into, so I can't quite get right to the bottom. I'll finish that off afterwards when I take it out of here. Now see, as I go higher, I want these to be a little skinnier, not quite as fat, tall from top to bottom, I guess you could say. And I want them to just recess off into nothing. See, they get fainter and fainter and fainter the farther back they go. And I'm not pressing down as hard on the brush. See, I can keep them a lot skinnier, a lot narrower. Go right over the swans like they're not even there. That's why I taped them out. I'm not going to paint around them. Life's too short to paint around swans, as well as other things. And see, by the way I blend this later, I can actually make those soften in and disappear even more so just by blending them. Like I said, blending cures everything. See how they're a little more distinct down here, and they get fainter and more vague the higher they go. I want this to look like it's going out across the water. They're just going to kind of disappear. I don't even have to go all the way to the top of the canvas, and I'm not going to. Paint smart, not hard. Don't do stuff you don't need. I don't need that. So I'm just going to let that kind of fade away, and my grass will take care of that. Do you know what Mr. Swan said when Mrs. Swan told him she was expecting? He said, well, that's just swan more mouth to feed. True story. I don't make this stuff up, guys. I don't make this up.